Check.
Boom.
We're here.
We're active.
Back in the studio. 3097 seconds, Bays Boys podcast. You almost stumbled over that. I can't even believe it. It's like the 900th million time we had to say that.
Make sure that we were really where we were.
Stay hydrated, my friend.
Yeah.
Listen, let me start off this studio by
Jack Daniels keeps you hydrated.
asking you a question.
Shoot.
Why the fuck is there not a warning sign in the water closet for the studio that says, hey, when you turn on the hot water in the sink, it's instantly scald your fucking fingers to the bones?
That usually doesn't even work.
Listen,
Did it
in
work?
most old houses, you turn on the hot water,
You got to let it set up.
you got to wait for a second so the hot water comes
Right.
up, right? I turned that bitch on.
Did it
It was
scald
like
you?
somebody took a boiling pot of water off the
I don't
stove
know.
and poured it over my fucking hands.
I don't know. We should write warning signs. We just usually just adjust, like why there's no doorknob.
Right.
Because people kept getting locked in there while we were recording. And that one dude got locked in there for 40 fucking minutes or some shit. And nobody was home and we were all in here blasting music. And then we wondered where he was. I thought he died.
How
Checked
come he
the phone.
didn't call anybody?
He was in the shitter. He didn't have his phone. And I'm like trying to call him, but his phone's
So
in here. I'm
word
like,
of
where
advice-
is he?
word of
He
advice,
was trapped in there.
Always take your phone with you to the toilet so in case you get
At
locked
least
in, you
the
can call for help.
Well, you can't now because there's no doorknobs. So. But listen, don't worry. The fucking rig's so close to the door, you just prop your foot, you're good.
All I'm saying now is if my fingers slough off during the podcast,
We'll put a sign up.
don't take me to the local hospital here. I know what kind of service they provide.
Oh my.
Take me to the other side of town.
Right. That's what I do. I go to the other side. I'm not even joking. Not even a little bit. I go to the other side of town too.
Right.
And that's again because of the same, probably some of the same rumors.
So I was just thinking
Or
about
not
this.
rumors.
I was just thinking about this, right?
Okay.
Since it is becoming that season, it is the first day of that season when the veil between here and there becomes thinner, allegedly, and spookier things start to happen, right?
So we're going to get that titanium Ouija board?
No, that's bro. The last time you talked
Ouija
about that
board?
shit started falling off the wall in the studio.
You think they'd do it again?
Bro, don't poke the fucking bear.
Leave that alone. I still have some books left with some stuff in them.
You know what? You should have never told me that because now we're going to have to record in the yard.
I don't know where they are. Most of them. I don't think.
We're gonna have
I'm
to
not sure.
We're going to have to record in the yard.
I haven't cracked any of them in 20 years. It's
Let's
not
not do that.
Right. It's not like I read them.
No,
You're not
let's
supposed
do
to.
that.
And I gave the one that had the warning in the front about reading it. So we're Gucci on that. Didn't want to tempt the devil. It's trying to trick me.
Stop saying those words. Here's what I'm going to say. All right, you get me out. You get.
So hold on. So the sharks don't stop you. The mountain full of hillbillies with guns don't stop you. But
I can see them.
those little tiny books I got in the other room.
Fuck all that noise, dude. Why did you even say that?
What?
Now we're gonna have to record in the garage.
You know that we have educational material on everything. It's not, I have a real library. It's not like,
See spot run.
yeah, it's not weird stuff. We're not using
except for
it.
these books.
I've got an entire book left over of letters between me and some friends in different languages.
Okay, you know what?
Do you want me to go?
No, I don't.
I could draw you some of them symbols.
No. That's quite all right.
All right.
That's quite all right. So, we've been to the Witch Museum.
Yeah. What? Oh, God, fuck. We're going back to the guy?
Yeah, we've been to the Witch Museum,
Jesus.
right? And we went with somebody who's kind of a subject matter expert.
I mean, as much as you can be on shit that you can't see. Sure. Yeah.
And
At
we
least
agreed.
for like his hometown stuff. Yeah.
We've agreed, kind of between us, right?
Uh-huh.
That was all bullshit.
At museum?
Well, the things that they tout that they practice.
I think that
That form of witchcraft.
this goes back to what we said the other day about the Daddy Elon stuff.
Listen, if
It's
you're
not. If it's your truth, 100% it's your truth, right?
if your witchcraft has a correspondence course, I can't put much faith into it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But here's the interesting thing.
Dude,
Right?
the problem is that there are so many witchcrafts that some of them don't need anything anymore because advertising does itself.
Well, the point I'm getting at, right? Again, if it's...
You know what I'm saying.
Right.
I can't say it out loud.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying.
They might be listening.
Here's what I'm saying. Again, you said your truth is your truth. Fine.
Their
right?
truth, not ours. Yeah.
But there are some parts of deepest Appalachia
Okay.
where there's witchcraft, right?
100%.
But it's not like, what are those stupid witch movies with the teenage girls and all that other bullshit, right?
Which one? Witchcraft, The Coven,
all that shit.
Charmed,
right?
all
That's
of
all
them.
that shit.
Yeah.
It's spookier. It's less dark.
Listen,
it's less because
listen, let me describe it to you, okay? Let's bring it real. Fuck the word spooky, okay? Fuck all that. Let's put it in real terms. It's on the side of a mountain in a place where there's probably no electricity. There might running water or electricity, take your choice, you get one maybe. And that's a slim chance. Like, I'm not joking. Not even a little bit. Maybe portable batteries. Okay, they have a radio. That's not real, bro. If your fucking real life depends on a fucking radio you got to carry in from town, okay, that's not like, oh, you don't have electricity, bro. You have a boombox. Okay? You're 15 fucking years old again. If I take that fucking thing from you, you are now without electricity. So you don't have electricity, you have a boombox at your campsite, right? That place smells bad. That woman doesn't bathe.
listen,
Right?
but,
The
but,
shit
but,
she uses or materials she finds outside, okay? What does that mean? Name anything you find outside in the middle of the fucking side of the Appalachian Mountains or wherever we're talking about.
But the point is what I'm getting to, right? Is this witchcraft, if you will,
Yep.
is handed down,
Yep.
right? You generally speaking through female bloodlines, right? It's a familial
Depending
thing.
on which one.
Right, it's a
What
familial
family
thing,
you're
right?
in. I've met men that are the same, as weird as this is. Like, I've met men who were convinced they were fucking warlocks too.
Okay.
I've met druids,
Right?
dudes that were like, I'm a druid. I'm like, okay.
Okay. All right. No, but the point I'm getting to is like, some of the stuff that they do is like herbal medicine, right? People are far from the hospital, right?
Right,
They
right.
have an illness, so they go see the
Home
witch.
remedies, right?
They go see the witch, right?
Sure.
And she has a home remedy that's been handed down for 200-300 years.
Okay.
It's effectual, but we don't pay much attention to it because modern corporate medicine doesn't want to put anything into herbalism or any of the old ways, right? That humans practiced for thousands of fucking years, right?
Well, there's a lot of things to unpack right there because
There's a lot
we're
of
talking
things.
about different angles, but yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So these women might be part medicine woman, right? They might be part herbalist. But then there's a lot of belief amongst those people that live in those mountains that those people who are practicing this can also put on hexes, who can also do other things or do good or do bad.
No matter what we're talking about right now, that is the instance of what matters to begin with.
I am more
Is belief.
I am more likely to believe that those people have a deeper connection because it's been an ongoing practice.
Why?
It's not a broken practice, right? It's not a broken practice. Unlike the witch museum that we went to.
Here's my thing though. Like, if I take, let's say we take two of them, right? One of them's name is Ham Beast, and Ham Beast has a daughter. Ham Beast teaches the daughter, blah blah blah, whatever. But Ham Beast's daughter doesn't care about that stuff. Now you come to the other side of town and you got this other broad, Tara. She fucking is born into it, doesn't have anybody to teach her, but she has the connection full force and she cultivates that spiritual connection. Just like how, again, not to bring it up, make you mad, but how people go pick up the Ouija board. They're like, hey, look, I'm connected. And it's like, okay, for 5 seconds, you're connected. Now, I'm not just arguing what you're saying, but my question is can the person over here who doesn't have the guidance cultivate that relationship and build her ability to communicate with the other side without having the guidance? Because that's what we've been talking about since day one when you mentioned the Reaper, the museum, and then the other stuff like the Bruja that we talk about in his world where he's like, hey, look, man, you guys are chopping this up. And sure, I 100% agree with that. But dude, look at how many fucking, look at my thing. Like, I follow Buddhism. How many Buddhists I meet that you would never even understand for 1 second or believe that they were a Buddhist. They have nothing on them that shows it. Some of them don't even keep a Buddha in the house. some of them, because
Are
these
they
are
real true practitioners?
and that's what I was going to just say, though. But these are, so they would argue religious wise, like a few of my mentors would argue that if we were true Buddhas, we'd be traveling too to seek enlightenment. We'd not only be traveling to seek enlightenment, but
You would be spreading it.
and we would have nothing. We would only have what we needed.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
So they follow this because they've taken the religion now and I don't want to use the word bastardized, but that's what it is. We're taking it and taking the chunks from ourselves. Right?
That serves your purpose.
Sure.
Okay.
Which that in itself is the whole paradox of religion, because of what people who stay away from religion get mad about, because they're like, well, this asshole goes to worship God, but then on Tuesday is doing XYZ that's not godly. Right? That's always the argument. Because it always revolves back around. You literally can't ask one without the other.
But again, the point being is this. You have an unbroken chain of lineage and education.
Does that give them more power?
But here's something else we're not taking into consideration. What if they have certain abilities, right? Because there's always ongoing scientific studies of people who allegedly have certain abilities.
Do you think people have abilities?
Yes.
Okay. Do we know anybody who's got the ability to give us some fucking money?
That's the question I'm always asking.
Yeah.
But
no, joking. All joking aside.
Do you believe there are people, right, who can see and or speak with the dead?
Yeah, but asking me is why it's not good to ask me.
Okay, let's go beyond that.
Because I believe anything they say. I believe your reality is your reality.
Okay. There are scientific studies where they've studied psychokinesis, right? Do these people have the ability to move objects with their minds? I mean, there's so much that we understand about the human brain, and so little that we understand, right? And we think that there's certain people that have more ability to do things than other people because they are able to reach
I believe.
And access certain parts and use certain parts of their brain that the average person cannot.
110%.
So you have a lineage of these people, right? And maybe whatever their ability is, it changes from generation to generation, but they still have smatterings and touches of some of this other previous stuff, right? But they've learned the ways, they've learned the language, they've learned the writings and the teachings, and they can combine this herbalism and they can combine it with their true belief and their abilities.
Right.
I'm more likely to believe that these people in the deepest parts of Appalachia and all this other stuff that's hundreds of years old are more prone and more likely to have the abilities and be true witches in the truest of the words.
Again, it's going to be...
You look at Mexico, they legit talk about brujas. And we've heard stories from people from Mexico about people witnessing brujas and their abilities.
Here's the thing, though. So let's take your, and this is just a question of example, not, I don't know, so I don't know. But let's say you got the bruja over here who's been going on for, we'll say, 500 years, just to yoke it out that way, right? We wouldn't know if there was one that started this 200 years that's been going on for 200 years in practice that we didn't have never seen. Look at this. Look at how Santa Muerte right now is like spreading. One thing that I noticed in our community that freaks me the fuck out is how many people, and I'm not trying to be mean, but how many very, very normal, I'm going to use the word normal because that's the best word I can come up with, people all of a sudden have these fucking statues everywhere. All of a sudden they're walking around with these statues and crosses, or not crosses, but these statues and icons and all these other fucking things that they know nothing about. And they were just like, yeah, man, you know what? I saw this on IG and it said that if I feel like this is where I belong. And I'm like, I blame
totally social media.
Cool, but that and I'm going to, I hate to do this, but I'm not going to. Somebody that I very much dearly love. Thank God they don't listen to our show. Like most of the people we love. Hey, so anyway, somebody who I dearly love one time was the same thing. Posting on Facebook, namaste shit, right? And one day I was like, what are you doing? Well, I posted this. Super cool. Why? Well, because it means this. But it means that for what? Like, you just reposting it.
Well, I mean...
and it becomes this fucking watered down Now, there is an amount of that, but somewhere, stuff is happening, whether we know it or not. For instance, like Santa Muerte, I've been seeing that my whole life. I had no idea what it was. I didn't learn about it until I started seeing people in our community with it. And the minute I looked it up and they were like, blah, 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 all of these dudes, and I'm talking dudes that don't have any of it, started coming to me because they knew I had a collection. They're like, hey, man, look what I got. And I'm like, that's fucking sweet, dude. But why do you have it? Well, this is the god of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, first of all, the god of blah, blah, blah has nothing to do with your blah, blah, blah. Second of all, why do you have it? And they can't answer the question.
It's not a cultural thing.
No, it's a cool thing. Oh, this looks cool. That's why I don't even wear religious shit. You know that. My favorite landmarks that I wear are landmarks that have nothing to do with religion, because I'm like, bro, you know how many fake crosses are running around? I don't want you to talk to me because you think we're friends, because we have the same religion, quote unquote. That's weird. And the social media is, the amount of dropping down. Sharing is one thing, bro. But what's that expression?
So would you call those people bandwagon jumpers?
Oh, there's a whole, there's tons of those people. There's tons of those people. There will be tons of those people that's why I never carried any of that for my totems, ever. I don't care what it is. I'll carry a death totem. I'll carry silver. I'll carry a totem that is given to me by a good friend. But I'm not going to carry a totem that represents something that I know nothing about. That makes no sense. And the death totem, people are like, well, you're alive. Yeah, dude, it's not about that. It's about that's where you're headed, homie. If I shake your hand, that's the only totem you and I could possibly have in our pockets that might be the same, because we're all going that way. And that's all that is, and you know that.
Right.
It's not about religion. There's no religion to it.
For
homie.
sure. I think initially the point of what I'm getting at, right,
is whether or not they're just fucking fancy. Yes.
Well, I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about where I started originally.
Oh, yeah. Could they? Well,
where I started originally is like, hey, I've never been exposed to this. Cool, let's go to this museum and check it out, and let's learn, right? Well, but as I'm learning, like when they started, we had a correspondence in the 50s, a correspondence course for this, and you try to track back the history, but the history stops.
What would a correspondence course be? Like, what
this
would
is
that
how
be?
you do this, and answer. Here's the test.
Well, but I mean, regular religion has that too, don't they?
Correspondence courses?
Sure. They call them, in Catholicism.
You may go to catechism classes.
Yeah, you go to that.
But it's not via mail.
No.
There's no written exam.
Well, Catholicism's been at this a long time. They don't need mailers anymore. if you know what I'm saying. I've never received a fucking Coke ad in my life, but I keep somehow ended up with Coke in my house.
Right. But the what I found interesting.
I mean, Coke in a can, by the way.
Quote unquote subject matter expert.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think of
Well, he's not a subject matter expert
on that in particular.
He said it himself. He said he's got a trainer, a mentor, and his own whatever they call him.
But when questioned about what do you think about this form of witchcraft, and the response was, it's a zombie.
Yes, a morbid continuation.
Because wherever the original practice began, right, it disappeared, right? So it either went underground or it was lost to history, right? And then sometime in the late 40s, early 50s, it was tried to be revived. And so because there were no written records of it, right? There was no written records of the religion, right? Because all those people were persecuted, right? Where did it come from? Like, you had to make all that up, right? Where unlike these people in the mountains, right, who may not have written records of this, but they pass on their practices orally from one generation to the next. And we're like, here's what I'm saying is, any Tom, Dick, or Harry could go and join this form of witchcraft, right, and learn the practices, right? Unlike these people in the Appalachia, who you're born into it, you're raised with it.
Yeah, but
so
that's
you may have the actual thing passed on to you genetically from person to person.
Yeah, but you could have something
and not just anybody. But see, that's the thing. Not anybody there could just sign up and become one.
True, and first of all,
which means it lends more legitimacy to me.
Yeah, but gatekeeping doesn't always mean that. You know that. You of all people know that.
And it's not necessarily gatekeeping.
Right.
I mean, because look, if it's a genetic thing,
if you can't,
if it's a genetic thing, it's not gatekeeping.
No, but I guess my point with the genetic thing is like the bar story. Remember? Little bar story with a little lady spilled the beer and then was able to name 3 names.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So she has, if she has nothing to do with that family and is in the normal, but doesn't even practice, but still somehow had that. I don't know, man.
Or the lady that was talking to Evil Kid and just started dropping all that info.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Dropped all the info. Never met Evil Kid before, but knew everything about.
But that's my point, though. Do you think that she learned that in our environment, knowing where he was standing?
I wouldn't say that was witchcraft. I would say that she had more of that medium ability. Which is a different thing.
I mean, I think it's all relative.
And listen, and if you talk to those people that live deep up in those mountains, because you can talk to them, right? They'll talk to you, right? They're very friendly and open people. If they like you, they like you, and if they don't, they don't, right? We've established that ourselves on some of our road trips, right?
Oh yeah.
They'll talk to you if they want to, and and if they talk to you, they like you. If they don't talk to you, they don't like you, and that's it, right?
Right.
Those people are also very wary. For them, those quote unquote witches are a useful tool. They don't want to be those people. They don't want to live like those people.
You're saying the witches that become witches don't really want to be them?
No. What I'm saying is those witches in Appalachia, people will seek them out for certain things.
Right.
But they themselves do not want to be those people.
Yeah. Of course not.
They're very wary of those people.
Yeah.
They avoid those people, generally speaking, right? They're like, oh, that's so-and-so. You know she's the witch. She's the witch
of the community.
Right. But this isn't just isolated to the United States, right?
No, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Absolutely.
So
well, that was my point, and again, I still understand your question. I don't think it is. I don't think it is, man. Here's why too.
Okay.
So we spoke to him when we spoke to the Reaper. I mentioned somebody that we both knew. I don't know if you remember that. We were driving around the freeway. I said, "Hey, man, you met this guy down south?"
Right.
And he was like, "Yeah, I know him. I remember him." I said, "Yeah, what do you?" He seems to be very into this now, and we were talking specifically with that. And he said something very interesting. He said, "Yes, he's very interested in it, and he's very into it, but he is," and I don't remember exactly how he said it, but he said something like, "He's not a practitioner, he's a conjurer."
Oh,
which means he's a beacon to pull this blah, 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 blah. Now, I was thinking about that.
I did not hear this conversation, by the way.
Which is crazy because you were sitting right next to us. Right. But anyways, so I was thinking about this. I mean, it was a stressful day for us that day. But I was thinking about this because I know that gentleman prior to meeting the Reaper. So I know his history. I know where he started. I know why he started. I know what he does. I know what his intent is. And it is true. Everything he said is true. There's nothing against it. There's nothing weird. It
wasn't disparaging.
Right. It was just interesting to hear him say, because the gentleman that I'm speaking of from down south, he's never come to me, "Oh, I'm this." No, he doesn't say that. He says, "Look, I built an altar. Look, this is where I worship. Look, this is what I'm doing. Look, this is what I don't want to say the word sacrificing, because I don't think he used that word. But however you use the word conjurer to tell somebody you're conjuring, I don't know. I'm not a fucking super witch. So, but I found it interesting that that the Reaper could separate this guy of, hey, he's not a practitioner, he's a this, versus what he's doing. Because the way the Reaper explains is like, oh, I'm into this, I've been around it my whole life, but officially, here I am finally making headway. And that's, to me, how it came across. Like, hey, I'm learning this. Mm-hmm. Remember? Because he was like, look, here's my startup.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, you really, and what you're saying, yes, 110% true. He really knows it. But is it going to land this particular person because they have the cult secrets more? No. Because you've seen a million stories, whether it's legends, fake entertainment, Hollywood, anything, any legend at all, there can always be somebody that walks off the street that is better and wants it more, right? And that conjuring thing is super weird.
Well, here, I just thought of this, and maybe this lends credence to what he was saying.
Yeah.
In that particular belief system, it's matriarchal.
What's that word mean?
It's run by women.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay.
So you could be,
and that does make sense. We've watched The Priestess ourselves. Is that what they're called? I don't even know. I don't want to
you
use the
could
word
be,
wrong.
you could follow that that faith
Right.
as a man,
Right.
but you could never
Be a leader in it.
be a leader
Correct.
or a practitioner
That's
in
right. So that's why that dude's a conjurer then.
because it's
He's like a summoner. Like, I want to bring good spirits. Because that's all he does. I should make a shrine.
right. And listen, and there are guys involved in it who are towards the upper echelon, as I understand,
Yeah.
but they will never be at the pinnacle
That's
because
okay.
this is a female-driven faith system.
Oh, that explains the way some of it's advertised and sold and all this other crap that's been going on.
It is a
too.
female-driven faith
Interesting.
system, and it's the women who have the true power and the women who have the true connection.
Interesting. So let me ask you a weird question just based on all this whole thing. Do you think that there can be something like a faith jumper? Do you think that you can have multiple faiths and believe in multiple faiths?
Not at the same time.
No?
Not simultaneously.
Really?
You might.
What about-
No. And the reason being is you can't never be fully committed to one or the other.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. I didn't mean in religious belief. I meant...
I mean, there.
do you-
Listen, there are
do you
people who
think that-
switch religions all the time.
Yeah.
You could be born into one religion
Right.
and it never sits with you.
I was born into my religion and never told about it.
Okay.
So my family, I watched my grandmother pray every day when I was with her. I watched her pray every night. I prayed with her under the cross. She's a Catholic. She prayed with her rosary, everything. But nobody ever described or told us why. And then when you went with other family members on my other side who I never saw, same thing, though they weren't Catholic. So then it changed. It was, hey man, you're here visiting? Okay, I'll see you on Sunday, 9 a.m. We're going here. This is what we're going to listen to.
This is what the family does.
Right. But nobody ever actually sat down and
Said
whatever.
why.
So I don't mean, I guess my question wasn't whatever. It was a question because we've talked about this before and kind of, not in a joking manner, but like in a philosophical way. Like I imagine sometimes that if there is more than one God, that they went around setting up different religions to see what people would do with each other. Or as the, I know, I like the one that you said. What was the one that you said once?
What I said is, what if there is one all-powerful creator, but that creator takes different forms for different people
for
because
what
of
they need.
what they understand
Right.
culturally.
See, I like that. I like that explanation a lot.
Okay. But I also know people, again, that were born into a faith.
Mm-hmm.
They were raised their entire life with that faith, right? But it never sat, it didn't resonate within them.
Right. And
And
they
then had a
switched?
calling
Okay.
to another one and switched faiths and went into that other one headlong because it resonated and meant something.
We've never talked about this. Also, this is the wrong podcast for this conversation. What happened here? Again,
100%.
we've gone sideways into serious. Nobody's laughing.
No, nobody's laughing. But
No.
again, the question was because we're at that point in the time of the year,
Yeah.
right, where everything's supposed to be
that's
spooky
right.
and all of that
Halloween.
other stuff.
Halloween.
Is,
I was sitting here like, damn, how did we end up here?
listen, I saw.
Not that I'm against it.
I went to the Witch Museum. I
Yeah.
kind of was not impressed.
He had fucking icons from Walgreens, mate.
I'm saying I
Like,
wasn't
it was
impressed.
a little weird.
Right? It seemed a little Dollar General, Dollar General religion.
Now listen, if we're talking about what are, if you ask,
And listen, and they probably truly believe.
hold on. So we're talking about two different things. If we're talking about the religion,
No,
you know
well,
exactly
for-
what I'm going
well,
to say about
well,
that.
for-
If we're talking about it that it's a museum, it's a cute little museum.
Okay,
it makes no sense.
The museum is put into place for witchcraft, right? This is the real witchcraft. This
That
is
one.
what witchcraft is,
Right.
right?
No.
No.
If I read your fucking book and every chapter and it's in a different language and the story changes, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
That's what
But what
happened
I'm
there.
saying is the contrast, the comparing contrast that I was trying to make, right?
Yeah.
Here, this is the Witchcraft Museum. This is what witchcraft is. I was not impressed by that. But when you have these true believers that
Yeah.
live in the deepest parts of the mountains of this country,
Yeah.
who are practitioners, whose family has been practicing for 200 plus years, right? And everybody in the community knows that's the witch, right? I have more belief personally that that's closer to reality and that they may actually have the powers to do that people believe them within the community to have.
So you believe they're more genuine?
Yes.
Again, it's hard to put.
Because listen, man, anybody can go to fucking
is that a
Dalton
word?
Books and pick up a book and, I'm going to write these scripts down. I'm going
That's
to do
this guy.
I'm going to do
Right.
this. I'm going to do that.
And
I'm
that's
gonna do
what
that.
I
I'm
mean.
going to practice.
That's why
But see, again, and the reason I don't fuck with that,
right.
because if it's real, right, the reason I don't fuck with the Ouija board.
You're going to say if it's real, it could blow up in your face, right?
Absolutely.
But here's the thing, though.
Don't fuck around with shit you don't understand.
But see, that's the part that you missed. And maybe this is the part that you learn once you start playing with it. It only, if you're any good at it, you don't fuck up and you don't fuck around and you're not a piece of shit. You're not supposed to go knocking on doors that can blow up in your face.
Yeah, and
We've talked about this because we've both endured many games, though very different, where I've told you personally where I knocked on a door and someone answered and hit me right in the face with a 2x4 and I was like, oh, bro, never mind. I didn't realize you guys were serious. I'm going to go now.
right, right.
Like the dude was like, hey, man, you came in here. Now I'm going to fucking show you why the fuck you shouldn't have. And I'm like, oops, I made a big mistake. You beat me up a little. I got to go now. I don't know, dude. I think it's the same thing. If you're going to go looking for it, dude, every time I've tried to look, somebody answered. That's why I don't mess with it. It's not like I believe this, that, or the other. I believe it's there. If I show up to your house and you tell me there's a ghost in your house, what I'm going to do, tell you to fuck off?
You can say, no, there's not.
Then that ghost is going to drop a fucking radio on my head. But it'll be sleeping and the TV's going to fall on me. What happened? He died by the TV. What TV? There's no TV in that room. We know.
Right.
That's why it's fucked up.
Right.
You know, like... No, I don't know.
I mean, not to get on all the whole religious hullabaloo. The whole point was we were talking. I was talking about witchcraft in general, right? Mm-hmm. Look, I've seen what your example is of what true witchcraft is supposed to be, right? And the reason I bring this up, right, because again, it's that season. What's the most famous witch story everybody in this country knows about?
Salem,
right? And we know Salem was based on people maybe eating fucked up rye bread, which caused St. Elmo's fire. It was caused by jealousy. It was
we're still going with that.
People selling each other out.
Dead serious.
But what they really blamed it on initially was the woman who allegedly taught the young girls the witchcraft, who happened to be from the Caribbean, right? I think her name was Tituba.
But was the witchcraft working?
The truth is, nobody knows.
Right, because they were too busy poking holes and fucking burning people. Right. Hey, did you see what she did? I don't know. Where is she right now? Oh, they burned her yesterday.
But when you look at the historical facts of what was taking place, right? It was a lot of jockeying for position. It was a lot of power grab. It was a lot of, hey, this is an easy way to get rid of my enemy.
That's one hell of a way to do it.
Oh, dude. And they
now it's just called sexual harassment, but my.
But they took advantage of that, right? If you really read about the whole trials and all this.
Oh, it is. It's horrible.
And listen, here's the other thing. What you have to understand about the people that lived in that period of time, right? The Puritans, right? They came to this country. They were afraid to go in the fucking woods. Right? They were afraid to leave their houses at night.
Wouldn't you be?
Right? You come to this massive country that you don't know anything about, and you believe that evil lives in the fucking woods?
Because they have no God?
Well,
because they're godless?
No, because when they went into the woods at night, bad things happened, right? You got killed by wolves, or you got killed by the natives, or, hey, we pissed off the natives, and the natives came back and slaughtered a whole bunch of us. Right? And they're going to blame that on the devil, right? Or whatever else it might be. But the interesting thing, right? Even with all this, even with all the modern technology and science, we're still afraid of that unknown, right? We're still terrified of it. We're still terrified of ghost stories.
Makes us human.
Think about some of the most popular TV shows right now on TV are the ghost hunting stories, or the stories with mediums. Like, oh fuck, you got a lot of dead people in this motherfucker. But if you think about it statistically, if you have a whole house that was built in the 1900s or earlier, there are probably a lot of
died there.
Or what was there before?
Right.
Or where are you in the country? Because certain parts of the country were the frontier when we first moved here, right?
You ain't lying.
Dude, if you think about the amount of people that have passed in this country since its fucking inception, or even before it became the Americas. Right? Even before. There
Listen,
must be billions of fucking ghosts walking
I don't
around.
Yeah, I don't know why
Billions
everybody
of
gets.
ghosts.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody gets so upset. It's going to be a party later. So what are you going as Halloween there for Joe Skelly?
Me?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
All right, well, that's what
I mean, I don't have any big plans for Halloween.
All right, that's how it works.
I used to do the Halloween get-up.
Okay, that's how it works. Write us and let us know.
What are you going for on Halloween?
Why you ask me questions you already know the answers to? You obviously know I'm not going as anything. I'm going as nothing.
Nothing?
We do the same thing every week, you and me. Why is it like,
I
I
guess.
there's no Halloween. I haven't dressed up since the fourth time I was grounded from Halloween at like age 10. I was like, fuck this then. I'm just going to stay home.
What did you do to get grounded?
I don't know. I probably punched some kid in the face because I was a dummy. I have no idea. I don't remember. I was always in trouble. My
Were you
mom.
hanging out with Basketball Rain Man?
Oh, no, that was way before. Yeah, no, it was Halloween way before that. Yeah, forget about that. No.
So I'm interested. If you have any feedback or thoughts on this witchcraft thing, or you have any experience with
If you've done any witchcraft, if you know anybody that does witchcraft, you tell them that we want to know, we want to interview them.
Hey, you might be
Also-
pushing some boundaries there.
Also, let us know if you want to call in and talk about your witchcraft stories. We can allow that.
Oh,
Let us know.
oh,
Let us know.
oh,
We're getting ready to open the lines to the public.
oh, Lord.
Zero tolerance or sub 2, you're not allowed. Zero tolerance. What the fuck is zero tolerance? All right, moving on.
Sub-Zero.
And I almost said Sub-Zero too. That you don't get that name, guy. Sub 2, you're not allowed. You're a whack job. Moving on. So, I want to know what everyone's going to be for Halloween. That's what I want to know. Send me your emails. Let me know what you're going to be for Halloween. BaysBasement.com.
Oh, hey, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, NotJoeRogansPodcast.com.
Yep.
Those guys are amazing.
Yep.
You should check them out.
Yep.
We want to thank them always for sponsoring us and helping us out and keeping the show moving.
Right. Thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers.
Yes, and tell your friends to sign up for that coffee so they could get that entire episode
Yep.
of elevator music.
Yes, sir. That's the way to
And
be.
again, you said you know Kenny G covers.
No, Kenny G.
So
No.
you don't want anybody just showing up with
Birkenstocks.
Tupperware.
Yep, trying to sell us Tupperware and shit. We don't have time for that.
No Mary Kay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Leave us a 5-star rating. Tell us how much you love us, even if you're only here for this one episode.
That's all that matters.
That's right. That is
Spread
all
the word.
that matters. Tell everyone about the gospel.
The gospel of the basement.
And remember, when we say a curse word, you need to drink. Unless you're in AA. In which case, when we say a curse word, you'll do 5 push-ups. There'll be no drinking for you.
I support that.
Yeah, we support no people who can't drink. If you're not allowed, push-ups is the game.
Push-ups is the game.
Push-ups is the game. I want to see earth pushdowns.
Right.
For everybody.
Oh, you know what? Take a picture of yourself before you start doing push-ups, and then 6 months, take another picture of yourself and send it to us so we can
That's
see
right.
how yoked you got from doing all the push-ups for us swearing.
And if you post a video of you doing push-ups on the Instagram with our podcast playing in the background, we will send you a free shirt.
Oh, there you go.
Bet. Ladies and gentlemen, 30-97 seconds.
Bays Boys Basement Podcast.
All the same things.